You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the Joplin Public Library has a new piece of art. We're going to hear how residents are celebrating the statue.
Also, the Carl Junction School District created a special garden in honor of an alumni and staff member.
And we have an alert day today. Severe thunderstorms possible by this afternoon. All hazards possible as well. We'll talk about that in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday morning. It is an alert day Tuesday in the Skywatch Weather Center as we've been watching the possibility of severe weather since last week. For today, and we are now at that point where we're going to see those thunderstorms later today across the area, and we'll get into the details on that here in just a few more minutes. But something old yet new returning.
Yes, libraries are known for letting the public borrow many things, but not their statues outside.
KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how the community is celebrating the replacement of a beloved statue at the Joplin Public Library.
It's so rare that anything, on the public library property would be messed with or damaged or taken, and so I was very disbelieving. I couldn't believe that had even happened, and then I had a lot of questions about why, what could they even do with it?
Shock. That's the feeling many community members have had after a popular statue at the Joplin Public Library was stolen nearly 1 year ago.
When the statue went missing last year, I was very sad.
Although a suspect has been identified and is awaiting trial for the theft, the statue has never been recovered. The work, titled "Two Kids on Bench," was a donation from the Kiwanis Club of Joplin. Library staff say the structure is well loved by the community.
I was kind of speechless whenever the community, the outpouring of love and just messaging from the community came about. So I know people really like that bench. I would see them interacting with it and their kids taking photos with it every day.
And it was that community reaction that drove the Kiwanis Club and other community donors to figure out a way to replace the bench.
The Joplin Kiwanis Club is all about serving the children of our Joplin area, and we felt that this statue represents the benefit of the Joplin Library for the children of the area.
And the generosity has not gone unnoticed by even the youngest of library patrons.
Thanks to the community of putting the statue back. Because he brought the statue back and kids will be probably filled with joy.
And she has a warning for any thieves thinking about trying to take the new statue.
Well, I would say put it back where it belongs. If don't, let's get rough.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Well, the Kiwanis Club of Joplin is also donating insurance to help protect the new statue replacement.
She's not messing around. If you take that statue, you're going to have some problems to deal with, and I think that she could probably deal out those problems.
Oh, yeah.
Don't take the statue. Nobody should have taken the thing in the first place, but do not do it again, or that young lady is going to show up at your door.
Yeah.
She'll beat the police department to your door, I bet.
There you go.
We've got, that's impressive. We do have an alert day today, though. Switching gears over to weather, we've got that possibility of severe weather as we head into the afternoon and evening across the area. So here's a look at today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And as you can see, there's at least some severe threat each of those 3 days. We've got the elevated to enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across a good portion of the area today. We go into tomorrow. We have a low to elevated risk along and south of I-44 for strong to severe thunderstorms, and we have a low to elevated risk across most of the area once again on Thursday. So timing today, there are some questions as the exact timing for today, but I'm going to tell you, the better chances for organized, widespread severe weather is going to be between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. across the area, starting in southeastern Kansas and shoving off to the east. Tomorrow is one of those odd days out where the severe threat's actually going to be in the morning prior to noon. And the best chances look to be between about 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. tomorrow. And then Thursday, it's more traditional timing, evening into the late evening and early overnight hours on Thursday. So let's start with getting you out the door, because right now, other than the fact it is a little warm, it's a little muggy, you can kind of feel the energy in the air. It's a beautiful start to the day. 72 Joplin and Pittsburgh. Temperatures around the region, bear in mind our average high is 77, and we've got Chanute at 74, Veneta now up to 75. You're 2 degrees off what our average high is supposed to be, and it's only 7 o'clock in the morning. That's where our temperatures stand. And as we go through today, again, we're going to talk about this possibility of storms and showers prior to the main event here in just a moment. Outside of that, winds out of the south gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. Thunderstorms increasing again between 3 and 10 tonight, and we'll have highs once again well above average as well into the upper 80s. Some of you could reach 90 degrees out there. We're going to break down the severe threat today, our thunderstorm chances tomorrow, and talk about what could happen ahead of this main complex here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Sam Butcher, the founder and creative force behind Precious Memories artwork, has died. The company shared the news yesterday through their Facebook page, saying in part, quote, "Although the sorrow is great, it is our prayer that the appreciation and celebration of his legacy be even greater," end quote. According to the Precious Moments website, Butcher began drawing at an early age. The public was first introduced to the Precious Moments artwork in 1975 on greeting cards and posters. The first figurines debuted on 1978. The Precious Moments Chapel first opened its doors in 1989 in Carthage, Missouri. Sam Butcher was 85 years old. Authorities in Montgomery County, Kansas, say a teenager who drowned over the weekend at Big Hill Lake had just graduated high school hours before. Authorities say 17-year-old Alonzo Juan drowned in the lake swimming area Saturday afternoon, just hours after he received his diploma from Field Kinley High School. Juan's parents live in Guatemala. A GoFundMe has been established to return his body to them, and you can find a link on our website, koamnewsnow.com. A donation is giving a special garden in Carl Junction new life. Mindy Doyle graduated from Carl Junction High School in 1997, then spent 13 years working for the school's special education department. She passed away from cancer last May. The school established a garden in her honor, and yesterday, Southern Star Gas Pipeline donated $1,000 worth of plants to honor her memory.
We sometimes ask them, because there's a lot of people that knew her, and they'll say things like, "Oh, she always made me happy," or "She was somebody I could always talk to." And so we say it helped to honor her, and they just smile and they love it.
Last year, the school named Mindy Support Staff Member of the Year. The next stop on the Great American Flag Swap 2024 takes place today at Jake's Fireworks in Pittsburgh at noon. People can bring in their old tattered flags to be replaced with brand new ones, courtesy of KOAM and Fox 14. The old flags will receive a proper disposal. The event always serves as a great way to give something to the community and support veterans. And those are our top stories this half hour. Coming up next, Jasmine Kyle of the SEK Humane Society and Ronnie are in the studio this morning, and they want to invite you to their upcoming Cat Cafe this Sunday. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the Memorial Park in Webb City. Welcome back. Jasmine Kyle of the SEK Humane Society joins us this morning, and she's brought a friend with her, Ronnie. Welcome, Jasmine. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
So much to you guys. So yeah, this is Ronnie. He's a 5-year-old hound pit mix, and sadly, he's one of our long-term residents. So he's been with us for over 800 days.
Oh, wow.
He's microchipped. He's neutered.
Yes.
He's a sweet guy. He loves car trips. Has done great with other dogs. he's really ready to go, but sadly he sat. He went off to Great Plains SPCA up near Kansas City, and he had behavioral, he had like professional training done with him, so he knows how to sit and to lay down on command as well. He's a really sweet guy. He really is.
Yes, such a sweetie. So fun. And so, along with Ronnie, you guys are also having the Cat Cafe event this weekend.
Yeah, so this Sunday, we're bringing back the Cat Cafe event. Yes. It was a huge success last year. From 1 to 3 this Sunday, all of our cats will be $25.
Okay.
They're, of course, altered, up to date on vaccinations, ready to go, but we're going to have coffee for free for guests from Root Coffee House here in town. We're going to have pastries. It's just going to be a nice, relaxing time, whether you're looking to adopt or not, just to come and hang out with some kitty cats this Sunday. Kids are absolutely allowed to come, anybody of any ranges.
Absolutely. And then can you talk to me a little bit about the adoption price reduction as well?
Yeah, so cats are going to be reduced. They're usually $45, but they're going to go all the way down to $25 for this Sunday too. And that'll also include our foster to adopt cases.
Yes. And then can you talk to me a little bit about the time and place?
Yeah, so that event's going to be at our shelter as long as weather is still good. It's going to be at the SEK Humane Society. The shelter will be open at 1 o'clock that day, and the event will run until 3. You're excited.
And for people at home who want to take Ronnie home, what can they know about this process of the adoption process?
Yeah, so you can always give us a call at 620-232-1840, or you can see tons of information of him online on our website, which is www.thesekhumanesociety.com. I should have brought your tug toy this morning.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. And remember that the Cat Cafe is this Sunday. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:16 now on this Tuesday morning. It is an alert day here in the 4 states as we are expecting strong to severe thunderstorms as we head later through the day today. So let's talk about what we're looking at right now. Now remember, this is the day 1 outlook. It will update technically at 8 a.m., but we have seen it update a little prior to that. We've actually seen it update live on the air during the morning show here on Fox 14, so we'll keep an eye on this for you. But at this point, we have a low to elevated tornado threat across the area. The greater concern at this point is also with large hail. We have an elevated to enhanced risk for large hail. And remember, the enhanced risk, the higher the risk level just means the higher the probability of that particular event happening. And then these hash marks are that significant category. That means that within that zone, if you do see hail, you have a chance of that hail being very large at 2 inches in diameter or greater in size. And then we have a low to elevated wind risk across the area as well. And as mentioned, this is not our only severe weather threat day. Tomorrow, we have a low to elevated risk along and south of I-44, and that's the one-off day. These are expected to be in the morning with a better severe threat in that zone between about 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then Thursday returns us to what we're more used to in terms of storm timing here. By late evening into the early overnight hours, we have a low to elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms once again across the entire area. Let's talk about some stuff. We discussed this on the KOAM side, but for those of us just joining us this morning, this is where our concern lies. There is the possibility that we could see development as early as 11 o'clock this morning. There's some discussion that the cold front may slow down and allow a dry line to develop ahead of it. If it does, then again, by about 11 o'clock or so, we could start to see individual showers and thunderstorms that could become supercellular in nature and bring us a severe risk with a greater chance for a tornado threat and a hail threat, at least a higher tornado and hail threat. We've got to monitor this closely. Very closely, because that scenario is starting to look a little more likely than it was even just a couple of hours ago. But we still need to watch it and see what happens. Right now, the greater concern for more widespread, organized severe weather is going to come this afternoon along the cold front itself. So here we are at 3 in southeast Kansas. We're going to start to get more thunderstorm development, and these are expected to develop rather quickly, intensify rather quickly, and slide off to the south and east rather quickly as well. You'll have to watch how fast this sucker moves as we put this into motion. These storms are going to again become severe pretty quickly. So by 3, here they are. And look at by 5, here they are now. Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, into Cherokee County, Lamar, Nevada, Stockton, back down just outside of Veneta and Miami. And by 7, that line really starts to pick up in speed, which is where the damaging wind threat really increases as well as these thunderstorms surge off to the southeast. So by 7, we're now long and south of Interstate 44, still dealing with that severe threat out there. And then by about 10 o'clock, again, the last of these will be rolling out of our area. But by 5 tomorrow morning, here comes more showers and more thunderstorms out there. And again, in the morning, right along and south of I-44 is when the better chance for some strong to severe thunderstorms will be. And then we'll deal with scattered thunderstorms through the day until about, say, 2, 3 o'clock, and the last of those will be out of here. So there's a lot to keep an eye on as we head through the next 48 hours, even the next 72 hours across the area. Again, alert day today. One other thing to point out, south winds outside of these storms gusting upwards of 40 today. Highs well above average into the upper 80s. Lows to mid 70s tomorrow, warming back up Thursday. Thunderstorms again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a break Sunday and Monday, few showers Tuesday, and another break by the middle of next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Welcome back. We've got Charlene Patton with us this morning. Thank you for being with us. Your request with the Kansas Soybean Commission. And if you haven't already noticed a theme throughout the month of May, we are making salads with Charlene, but it's also May Beef Month as well. So talk to me a little bit about this salad that we're making this morning.
Yes, we wanted to recognize the beef industry.
Yes.
They make great partners with soybeans because most of the soybeans that are used here in Kansas are used to feed livestock.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
in this particular recipe, we have a double use of our soybeans that I wanted to share with you.
Looks great.
You're
yes.
going to make the dressing again. And this is rice vinegar that's in here.
Okay.
And I'm going to add this. This is soy sauce and a little bit of sesame oil.
Okay.
That just adds a wonderful extra flavor for this.
Yes.
And then we've got a little bit of sugar to sweeten it up.
Yes.
So you put that on very tight.
Yes, very tight.
And
Make
then,
sure that top's on there.
That's right. And then it's closed and you can shake that.
I'll start shaking
and then
that up.
I've got just a spring green mixed here that you can get in the store.
Okay.
We're going to add some red onion that's sliced and then some radishes that are sliced. And then we have cucumbers that we're adding.
Oh, so pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Just a
This
pretty
makes
salad.
a really flavor. And then here's our edamame again. And we've talked about it, but now when you purchase edamame, I love it in the frozen food section. You can just put those packages right into the microwave. Makes it so easy for mixing. So there we have it all mixed up.
Yes.
And then I want to tell you about the steak.
Oh, please.
This is a Kansas City strip steak. And what I did is has a wonderful rub that has smoked paprika. It has chili powder, a little bit of brown sugar.
Go great with that salad, yes.
Put that on both sides, rub it on both sides of your steak, then put it on the grill and then cook it there until about 140 degrees, so it's rare.
Yes.
Now, if you'd like it cooked more than that, just leave it a little bit longer.
Of course, yes.
Then take it off the grill, and I sliced it thin so that we're going to put it in thin strips, and then you can see how nice that looks serving it with the salad.
Over there.
I had somebody say, it was a man that said, oh, I don't think I want to put it on my salad. And I said, you know what you could do? Have that steak separate and the salad on a salad plate.
Best of both worlds.
Best of both worlds. That's right.
Well, wonderful. And so if you want more recipes like this, you'll be sure to call and get this Soy Foods Guide. And Charlene, how can they do so?
They should call the Kansas Soybean office, and that is 877-KS Soybean, or you can go to our website and get all the recipes for the month of May. And there's also a message center there, so you could put your address in and we'll mail it to them.
Wonderful. Well, stick around. We'll be right back. Thanks so much, Charlene.
Thank you.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:28. I'm Elise Snowy. Authorities in Jasper County respond to reports of a car crashing into a creek. The call came in just before 8 yesterday morning. Troopers say a westbound driver on Baseline Boulevard overcorrected and drove off the left side of the road into the Slater Branch Creek, taking out a sign and slamming into a tree. The driver of the vehicle refused medical treatment, though was later taken to a local hospital with minor injuries. Crews battle a blaze on board a train engine early Sunday morning. The call came in just after 2:45 to Cherokee County authorities. Columbus Fire Rescue joined the effort, assisting rail staff to avoid the spread of the fire to the rest of the unit. No injuries were reported. The Carthage, Missouri City Council has set a date for an impeachment hearing for Mayor Dan Rife. City leaders will meet on June 5th at 4 p.m. to discuss the mayor's impeachment. Yesterday, they overrode the mayor's veto to set the hearing. This comes after a months-long dispute over efforts to remove City Administrator Greg Dagnan from office. Mayor Rife opposed the efforts by council members. Now, with the aid of outside legal counsel, the council membership will attempt to prove Mayor Rife has not been doing his job properly. But not all the council members seem to be on board.
People on the council too, and not everyone is feeling the same way. And I just want people to really believe and follow their hearts and do what they think is really best for the city. Is it best interest of the city to go for an impeachment hearing and all the money that that's going to cost? Is it in the best interest for us to all fight and bicker? I've said it over and over again. If we would all work as a team, this team we have here, we have a lot of good brains sitting in this room, but we're not working as a team, and we need to be working as a team.
The city has another special meeting scheduled for today at 7 p.m. You can find more information about past council meetings and the ongoing dispute on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. More than a month after the city of Lamar, Missouri began accepting bids for the removal of its aquatic center, some citizens have a plan to save it. The Save the Pool group presented their proposal to the city council. They say they found a contractor who looked at the center and came up with some ideas on how to restore it and reopen it.
This month we have really worked hard. We have brought in a contractor who renovates and refurbishes pools and had him look at our assets that we have left there. And his first remarks is, he says, "Why do you want to bulldoze these assets?" He says, "There's a lot of money sitting here." So tonight what we want to do is present an alternative to what the city can look to.
The center has been closed for several years due to issues including leaks, slow attendance, and staffing shortages. Representatives from the Cherokee County Health Department assisted residents yesterday with information about Can Care and Medicaid. The goal for the event at the Galena City Hall was to answer questions and get eligible residents signed up for benefits.
Well, if you're not sure if you're eligible for it, you could do presumptive eligibility, which takes 10 minutes opposed to maybe a couple of hours on the written application. Presumptive, you're just basically putting through a small application to get approved for that day and for 30 days until they've decided yes or no for sure.
Future events will be taking place each Monday of the month with locations set up in Baxter Springs, Galena, and Weir.
And we have an alert day today for strong to severe thunderstorms expected as we head especially into the afternoon and evening hours. We have an elevated to enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms across a good portion of the area. We have a low to elevated risk tomorrow, and this is the odd one out where these thunderstorms are expected in the morning hours with the better chances for stronger storms along and south of I-44 between about 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. And then back to what we're used to in terms of timing with thunderstorms expected late evening into the early overnight hours on Thursday. Low to elevated risk once again. Let's get you out the door. 72 in Joplin, 73 in Pittsburgh. Sunny, breezy. South winds are going to be gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. Something else to keep in mind, our average high is 77 degrees. We have the instability in place for these thunderstorms, and if you look off in that temperature gradient well off to our northwest, there's that cold front that's going to bring us those storms later today. Take a look at temperatures. We've still got a couple of 60-degree readings out there. Monette and Cassville, everyone else, low to mid 70s. So again, keep in mind, high of 77 is average. Veneta, Chetopa, you're already at 75. We are looking at highs today into the upper 80s out there. Some of you may reach 90. Again, gusty south winds at about 40 miles an hour with some of those gusts. We could see thunderstorms earlier in the day. We're going to talk about that in detail here in a moment. Otherwise, the main line of storms expected between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. across the area, beginning in southeastern Kansas, with all hazards possible, unfortunately, with a greater concern right now for very large hail for some of us. And then again, those temperatures well above average out there. We again have the severe threat heading into tomorrow. We also have it on Thursday, and we have some uncertainties about early storm development today. We'll discuss all of it in detail with the full forecast here in a few more minutes. Elise?
Thanks, Chris. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOA Morning News. We're all aware of cyber attacks on computers and emails, but what about your smartwatch? We'll have more on that story when we return. But first, here's a live look from the Memorial Park in Webb City.
Get hooked on a big win this May at Riverbend Casino Hotel.
See your Mocan Chevy dealer today.
In Consumer Watch this morning, with prices rising in nearly every industry, companies say consumers are being more careful with where they are spending their money. McDonald's is preparing to introduce a $5 value meal next month, hoping to boost its sales. Home Depot reports fewer customers are buying material for renovations. The Consumer Price Index rose over 3% in the last 12 months through April. Consumers are dealing with rising prices, more credit card debt, and dwindling savings. Researchers are predicting a positive trend in global life expectancy. A study published in the medical journal The Lancet finds global life expectancy could rise by up to 5 years for men and 4 years for women in the next 30 years. Researchers say recent public health measures to prevent and treat heart disease and COVID-19 are among factors for the life expectancy to increase. The study also finds chronic ailments will be a more significant threat to life expectancy. A new report says Elon Musk's brain implant company gets a federal okay to proceed with the second patient. The Wall Street Journal reports that the FDA says Neuralink can implant a brain chip in a second patient after the company announced fixes to issues with its first volunteer. Neuralink's first patient says he was able to control a computer cursor with just his thoughts, but noticed the implant stopped working about a month after surgery. Wearable and device technology has been rapidly evolving, but while these gadgets can come with benefits to help people accomplish their health goals, Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look at why cybersecurity experts warn these devices could be tempting to hackers.
While cyborgs don't exist in real life, the ever-expanding variety of wearable smart devices are allowing people to suit up with gadgets to track everything from their fitness, sleep, health, and more.
So smartwatches are kind of the most common example, but you also have things like headphones, heart rate monitors, like insulin pumps, pacemakers would count to a certain extent.
But while they can provide consumers with information so they can monitor their goals, many of these devices are collecting a lot of user data. It's something computer information experts warn can create vulnerabilities for cyber attacks.
The more data it's capable of collecting, the more dangerous it is from a security perspective, because it's more tempting to attack that device. But you also should be aware of things like how much control that device has over your phone and over other data.
This type of data can reveal stats about people's medical conditions and lifestyle habits. But if your smartwatch, for instance, is synced to a credit card, hackers could also get access to your payment information.
As we move forward, the level of protection for this data, the level of protection for these devices needs to go up pretty significantly, and that's a very, very challenging thing to do.
Besides calling for companies behind the products to bolster security measures, Charles Walter of the University of Mississippi recommends Shoppers stick to devices from reputable brands who've had years to devise more advanced security settings.
Brand new devices just come to market from a company you've never heard of that have no potentially FCC certifications, have no kind of direct connections. Those tend to be a lot less security conscious.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:42, almost 7:43 on this Alert Day Tuesday, as we're expecting strong to severe thunderstorms as we head a little later into the day. Let's talk about the threats right now. We've got a low to elevated tornado risk across the area, an elevated to enhanced hail risk out there, and a low to elevated wind risk. And these hash marks here indicating the possibility of very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or greater. There are some changes to the forecast that have been playing out just in the last 2 or 3 hours this morning, and that's what we're going to talk about in detail here in a moment. Today, though, again, not our only severe threat day. Tomorrow, along and south of I-44, between roughly 6 a.m. and 11 a.m., which is an odd time for us, but that's where the better opportunity for some stronger storms will be. And again, along and south of I-44. Thursday, late evening into the early overnight hours, we have another low to elevated risk across the entire area for additional strong to severe thunderstorms out there. Let's talk about some of these changes that we've been discussing. There is some concern that the cold front is going to slow down a bit and that we're going to get a dry line out ahead of that cold front, which means we could potentially see supercellular development as early as 11 o'clock this morning. We've got to watch the forecast trends on this. It's still up in the air, but there's that possibility. The future track here picking up on at least a remote possibility of some discrete cells out there. If that happens, then the tornado and hail risk would increase just a bit with the supercell threat along that dry line if it manages to develop. We've got to watch this very closely. Right now, the primary concern or the primary timing for more widespread, more organized severe weather is between 3 p.m. and 10 p.m. tonight as the cold front itself approaches. So here we are in southeast Kansas. We're going to get these thunderstorms developing along that front, and as it continues to roll in, thunderstorms will continue to increase in intensity and coverage. And by 5, we're Fort Scott, Nevada, Lamar, Pittsburgh, back down into Cherokee County, outside of Veneta, Miami, and Joplin. You're still outside the severe threat by 5. For Joplin and Pittsburgh, we're talking that 4 to 6 p.m. zone. By 7, there's that line now surging southeast. So Monette, Mount Vernon, Cassville, Anderson, Grove, you are going to be getting in on this as well with these severe thunderstorms. And again, by 10, the last of it on its way out of here. Then we go into Wednesday. Overnight tonight will be dry, will be calm, will be clear. Then early tomorrow morning, clouds increase, and by at least 4 or 5 a.m., we get some initially just showers, and then we'll start to see thunderstorms start to develop out there between 6 and 7. And here's that batch by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. This is where our window of strong to severe thunderstorms will be. And you can see these more intense cells right in that zone along and south of I-44. And then we'll deal with some scattered showers and thunderstorms for the first half of our Wednesday. And a couple of additional stronger storms may be possible as we get into the afternoon hours. And then by about 3, last of that rolls out of here, and then we've got to deal with the showers and storms and severe weather chances on Thursday. So a lot to keep an eye on. That's why we have an alert day today. Outside of the storms, south winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour, and then highs today well above average into the upper 80s. Some of you may reach 90. Mid 70s tomorrow, warming back up. Thunderstorms again Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. A break in the activity Sunday, Monday, maybe a few showers Tuesday, and hopefully a little calmer as we head into the second half of next week. But again, a lot to keep an eye on today, and we'll keep you updated on those forecast changes. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
I Want Weather Team, here for you every time.
After a 38-year absence from competing, motocross cyclist Sarah Jane Nichols has shown us age is just a number.
In the BMX World Championships in Rock Hill, South Carolina, she came in second in the 40-plus category, leaving a bunch of boys in the dust. Ian Lee explained she has no plans to ease off the pedals at this point of her life or career.
Out of the gate, Sarah Jane Nichols zips around the track in a blink of an eye. The competitive spirit drives her forward. But what makes her special isn't that she gives the boys a run for their money. Rather, she's old enough to be their mom.
The whole thrill, the buzz, the excitement of sport, just, yeah, I mean, I'm loving it.
Away and Sarah Jane off like a train.
Sarah Jane conquered the BMX world in the 1980s.
She could almost afford to stop, have a cup of tea.
She rode to the top of the world championship podium in 1986, then hung up her helmet, never to compete again.
So I went out on a high as British champion, and that was it.
Sarah Jane got on with life, but slammed the brakes when the pandemic brought isolation, depression, and menopause.
It felt like I'd been hit by a steam train, and I was at a real all-time low. I was very, very low. I didn't have any motivation. I didn't have any. I was just tired all the time. I was irritable.
So that's when the 53-year-old turned to an old friend and accepted an invitation to check out her local BMX track.
It was bizarre because I got up on the start gate and managed to balance. It went down, and yeah, the very, very first time of coming down here, I enjoyed it.
And just like that, Sarah Jane felt like a teenager again.
It comes flooding back, but I think my brain was still when I was 16.
And maybe it's just like riding a bike. Because Sarah Jane is still pretty good enough to once again compete in the World Championship.
You just go, as soon as the gates dropped, I think it's just all about the adrenaline. You have to concentrate. You can't let up for a second on concentration on the tracks because the jumps are very, they can throw you as well.
But these days, she'll tell you dominating the sport she loves isn't the real win. It's the folks she met along the way. Sarah Jane showing us that you can get through life's ups and downs no matter your age, just as long as you keep moving forward.
Certainly incredible, really impressive, something I myself could never do. So it's great to see her doing it at 38 years old. That's super impressive.
Certainly could not do that at all. I'm 37 and could not do that. So my hat is off to her for sure. Well, we want to remind you we do have that alert day today for strong to severe thunderstorms. So let's take a look at where the severe hazards stand as of right now. And again, this is set to update at 8 a.m. We have seen it update live on the air. And we're just kind of waiting to see if that does happen because there are some potential changes. We're looking at the possibility of a dry line forming ahead of the cold front, which could change some of the chances for severe weather. But as it stands now, we have a low to elevated tornado threat across parts of the area. We do have that elevated to enhanced risk for large hail and a low to elevated wind risk with these hash marks on the hail indicating the possibility of very large hail, 2 inches in diameter or greater. All right. Then as we head into tomorrow, we have a low to elevated threat along and south of I-44 in the morning hours. And then we have another low to elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms by the evening on Thursday. So this is the possibility of a dry line, which could give us a few isolated supercells. If this happens, we could see these as early as 11 o'clock this morning. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that. They'll be very isolated, but nonetheless, if we see them, they could get nasty pretty quickly. Then between 3 and 10 p.m., that's when that cold front rolls in and brings that line of strong to severe thunderstorms across the area, putting it into the Joplin, Pittsburgh area between 4 and 6, and it'll bring all of those possible severe hazards with it as it pushes off to the southeast, exiting by about 10 o'clock tonight, and again, more thunderstorms tomorrow morning. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Sam Butcher, the founder and creative force behind Precious Moments artwork, has died. The company shared the news on its Facebook page yesterday. The public was first introduced to the Precious Moments artwork in 1975 on greeting cards and posters. The first figurines debuted in 1978. The Precious Moments Chapel first opened its doors in 1989 in Carthage, Missouri. Sam Butcher was 85 years old. Authorities say 17-year-old Alonzo Juan drowned at Big Hill Lake swimming area Saturday afternoon, just hours after he received his diploma from Field Kinley High School. A GoFundMe has been established to return his body to Guatemala, where his parents are living. You can find a link on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. The next stop on the Great American Flag Swap 2024 takes place today at Jake's Fireworks in Pittsburgh at noon. People can bring in their old tattered flags to be replaced with brand new ones courtesy of KOAM and Fox 14. The old flags will receive a proper disposal. The event always serves as a great way to give something to the community and to support veterans.
And we have our alert day today. Here's a look at the severe hazards. We have a low to elevated tornado threat, elevated to enhanced hail risk, with those hash marks indicating the possibility of very large hail, and a low to elevated wind risk across the area. Best timing for these is going to be between 3 and 10 p.m., but we are watching the possibility of some development earlier than that, and we'll keep a very close eye on it as we go through the morning. Again, otherwise, very windy, south winds gusting to 40, highs into the upper 80s. More storms tomorrow and Thursday that could be strong to severe as well. So a lot to watch over the next 72 hours.
Absolutely. Well, spectators in Heinsberg, Germany gathered to watch adults race on comically small bobby cars on Sunday. This footage was captured by local politician Wilfred Ohlers, who said it was a great event for both young and old.
Participants raced downhill on toddler-sized toy vehicles called bobby cars that are manufactured in Germany. The organizers of the event told a local news outlet that a number of the toys were customized so that adults could ride them. That certainly looks like a lot of fun. And of course, got our alert day. We'll keep an eye on those storms for you. We'll be back at noon.
Have a great morning.